We're going to come and work on the paraspinals in the back, and I'm going to teach you the quintessential Tui-Na technique for the back, because it is a wonderful fifth metacarpal head technique. I drew a terrible bone on the board earlier to illustrate if you have trouble remembering that it's the head of the metacarpal. Long bones all have a base, a shaft, and a head. And the base is always the proximal end. The shaft is, of course, the shaft, and the head is the distal end. The only exception to that is whoever named the head of the fibula got it wrong. It should be the base of the fibula, but the distal end is your lateral malleolus. So they messed it up. But the fifth metacarpal head here is going to be our tool. And the thing to remember about this technique is there's a lot of moving going on, but I'm not actually moving the head of my fifth metacarpal around on her much, if at all. In traditional Tui-Na, they wouldn't move it at all. It would press in, but stay put. So we're going to do a technique called rolling, which starts in full ulnar deviation and rolls the wrist into radial deviation, just like I'm rolling a rolling pin across her. But the pressure is focused all on that fifth metacarpal head, and the power for that all comes from my back leg. So I'm going to pick her up so I don't have to kill myself, bending over. So I'm pushing with my back leg forward as I apply that pressure, and then I'm sitting back slightly. Pushing forward, sitting back. The important things to remember are the hand is loose. All right, I'm not using the hitchhiker thumb to get any help out of it, and I'm not going like this across the body. I'm applying pressure and releasing. And just pick anywhere that's flat and easy to work along the erector spinae. It makes no difference. All right, we want to press in and release. And this is going to have a rhythm to it. You're not going to press and hold with this technique, although you can. It's just not rolling. Traditionally, it's actually done with both hands like this. But start with your dominant hand. Let your non-dominant hand hang out for the ride and get the hang of rolling one hand first. Once you get comfortable with that, you can purchase the second hand here next to it, and it will help out with that non-dominant hand learning. In Tui-Na, we like movement in the whole body. So we want her rocking everywhere. We don't want just to move the part we're at. You'll notice there's more movement down here than there is up here. Ribs don't like to twist. The lumbar spine does. So we're going to get her moving her whole body head to toe with this technique. But we're doing that just up here on the back. So I'm purchasing with that knuckle, and I'm going to rock her whole body around. So I'm rolling and she's rocking. Rocking and rolling. Easy.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
This is not traditional Tui-Na, but one way that I use this is to purchase one hand at the top of the spine and walk the other one down the spine. In shiatsu, they call this the mother-son hand, and they do it with a lot of other techniques, but they don't do rolling. Then I have a choice. I can walk down to meet it and then head back up the same way, or I can just leave this one up at the top and I can walk my bottom hand back up as I go. You will find every body has its own rhythm. So some people rock and whip back to neutral pretty quick. Other people have a much slower pace. So the speed of this is based on her body's natural frequency. If I push and she's bouncing back, I don't want to push again before she's back to neutral. That feels really awkward. So I just want to feel for her rhythm and follow that. If you're in doubt, go slower. Slower is never going to be uncomfortable. You got to be careful if you like a little more upbeat massage music, because you'll catch yourself going boom, 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 boom. That's not ideal. If you find that this pinky is sore after just a couple minutes of doing this, you're trying too hard. My pinky is doing nothing. I'm not pushing on the back of my pinky finger. I'm only pushing through the knuckle. So if your extensor tendons are all standing up, stop, shake out the hand, shake out the forearm. It should be a loose fist. Right? I'm not squeezing my hand, and I'm only doing radial and ulnar deviation. And that's not where the power comes from. That's just to follow the motion of her body, really. So I'm avoiding doing this and rolling this way, which is what everyone wants to try to do. That's hard on the fingers, it's hard on the extensors, and it's not actually putting pressure through the knuckle. I want to drop my elbow, and I want an ulnar to radial deviation, just like this. If you don't remember your forearm anatomy, there are 5 muscles technically that do radial and ulnar deviation, the carpi muscles. So I have flexor carpi radialis and ulnaris on the flexor side that do this, and I have extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis and extensor carpi ulnaris that move my hand through this motion. They're powerful muscles that can get away with a lot of work. If I roll this way and I get into extension, I'm asking extensor digitorum to help, and it's a weak little wuss, and it'll get hurt. So don't hurt extensor digitorum. Keep that thumb in a hitchhiker arrangement, but not hitchhiking. We're lazy hitchhikers, just like that. So don't worry too much about how everything is feeling as far as whether you're moving around a little bit. Just get the hang of that motion happening, timed with your body moving, and all of the pressure going through that knuckle, and we'll sort out the rest of it later.